Every day I'm reminded that I just do not like politicians, because as genuine as they try and come off, it doesn't ever play out that way in reality. Like, you just want to act like you care so much about people, and you play the blame game. And even though they're all responsible, none of them actually want to implement change. Well, we have Bernie Sanders and AOC. Bernie almost had me. They both almost had me a little bit in the beginning. I disagree with them for the most part. But then there was like moments I was like, oh, there's some humanity there. There's some caring. There's some I want to see change. And then it just goes away when you continue on the video. But let me stop yapping about it and let's just watch it. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to Resist the Mainstream, because it ensures to YouTube that you're enjoying these videos, and in turn, they'll continually show up in your feed and they'll push it out to more people. I'm Titus. Let's get into this video.
But are you saying that Senator Schumer should not be worried about a primary challenge from you?
All right.
No.
Let me jump in on this one. This is what
we're talking about.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
This is what we're talking about.
You have a country that is falling apart. We had a housing crisis, a healthcare crisis, an education crisis, massive income and wealth inequality, a corrupt campaign finance system, and the media says, "Oh, you're going to run? What are you going to run for?" Nobody cares. She'll run more towards
Nobody cares. It's the House Speaker and President Trump and the Vice President saying it.
Right.
Pardon?
Well, of course, they're saying it to deflect attention away from the real issue.
Exactly.
And here, let me tell you what the real issue is. Let's see if CNN talks about it. We're living in the richest country in the history of the world, right? All right, you tell me why we're the only nation not to guarantee health care to all people, the only nation not to guarantee paid family and medical leave, why we have a $7.25 an hour minimum wage, why we have 800,000 people sleeping out on the street, why we have a president who denies the reality of climate change, why we have oligarchs on top who have more and more power every day. Let's talk about that issue, not her own political future. She'll decide that.
Honestly, and here's the thing. Although, some people you can disagree with, healthcare for all. I mean, the sentiment of wanting everyone to be able to have access to free healthcare and not having to pay so much money to, that's a good intended desire, right? Everyone should. I mean, in a perfect world, we would all be able to go to the hospital when something bad is going on with us and get everything for free. Of course, that'd be awesome. That'd be amazing. It's just how do you implement that without screwing people over? Minimum wage being as low as it is, yeah, agreed. That's terrible and it needs to be changed. 100%. That's insane. Like, inflation goes up, prices go up, but wages don't. I think that's a problem. And I don't know all the intricate details of how that process works, but I feel like just based off that statement alone, it's like, yeah, give everybody a raise, buddy. That's crazy. And then, all the homeless people, I agree, all that stuff. Yeah. You think they'd care, right? It seems like they care, even if you don't necessarily agree with their implementation. But then you watch this next part. When AOC gives a description of what the Republican Party represents and stands for, and don't get me wrong, there are people within the party that are this way. But to say that is just a broad stroke, a generalization of everyone and any party, to say all these things about it is insane. So let's check it out.
And it is clear to communicate that as an individual. Now, to the question earlier as well, when they talk about Republicans and their success online, they have been successful because they have also been very clear, especially digitally, about what they believe.
And that doesn't sound bad, right? Just wait.
That women are inferior, they do not deserve equal rights. That they believe that LGBTQ Americans are subhuman.
When has anyone ever said that women are inferior and do not deserve equal rights, and that LGBTQ people are subhuman? I'm sure someone has said that, but that is not every person. And that is not even in Republican messaging. Even if, like, I've never heard that in my life. Am I bugging out? Subhuman? Yes, a lot of Republicans are Christians, and the Christians, believe the Bible. The Bible says that homosexuality is a sin, and they don't condone it, and they don't want to accept it. They don't want to implement it in schools, implement it in television. Which is not their right to choose. It's like the people, the network. But I'm just saying, they cannot like something or want something. That doesn't mean they don't like not. And they've tried to make the distinction that I don't agree with your lifestyle, but I don't hate you. But subhuman is crazy. Subhuman is crazy. Inferior. They don't want men and women to be equal. Like, where is that in the Republican messaging?
That they believe and are circulating disgusting racial and white supremacist messaging that they are able to get away with digitally and online. And they are able to radicalize and target and exploit a generation of young boys, in particular, away from healthy masculinity and into an insecure masculinity that requires the domination of others who are poorer, browner, darker, or a different gender than them.
Her shaking her head. Yeah, that's right. Except for it's not. That position in itself is radical. To sit there and, with your full chest, state that that is the messaging of the Republican Party. You are causing a greater divide. And this is what both sides do, though, because they'll say the same thing about the left. The left is all about ripping your children's appendages off and pumping hormones into their body. No, that's not their main thing. A lot of them want what Bernie Sanders was saying: free health care, get rid of homelessness, like minimum wage to go up, like we're the richest richest country in the world, and a lot of people are suffering, and this shouldn't be the case. You know, oligarchs, all this stuff. That's legitimately what a lot of people on the left have an issue with, and it's just both sides are so annoying. But this is not helping.
And that is why they are resonating online, because they are appealing to the most basest and worst parts of human nature to divide us. And why to divide us?
Say that when you are literally dividing people up currently right now in this video.
So that the same people who own those platforms, people like Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Mark Zuckerberg, that these people can continue to get away with highway robbery in tax cuts, and in order to fleece all of our pockets, cut our health care, keep our wages low, so that we remain fighting amongst ourselves while they make themselves richer. And so in order for us to fight back against that, we must be clear about what we believe, have strong beliefs, and also be completely unwilling to bow to that kind of division and stand in solidarity with one another, especially when it is someone whose culture is different from ours or whose background we may not entirely understand, but that we honor, love, and see as our fellow Americans.
Yeah, that sounds great. Just not really 100% accurate, AOC. This is what I'm talking about. They don't care about uniting anybody. Like, all that stuff in the first clip about seem like you care so much about the American people and in fixing everything that's going wrong right now in our country. And then in the same breath, you say the most divisive rhetoric that's not even accurate or true. It's not true. Wild. I have another video for you guys from this clip, from this interview. So let's check it out.
But can I ask you on this to follow up? Because you said that it is federal law that people, undocumented immigrants, can't get Medicare, Medicaid, the Obamacare subsidies. Do you believe that should be the law, though? Or do you think undocumented immigrants should have access to federally funded health care?
I believe personally that health care is a human right. I believe that every person should be able to go to the doctor. But I believe that right now, federal law is the federal law. And that absolutely, that U.S. citizens and people who pay into our programs deserve to be covered by these programs. And I mean, once again, I do believe that the federal laws that we have on the books are appropriate.
But if you could choose, do you believe that should be changed?
Pardon?
If you could choose, do you believe that the federal law should be changed?
I don't. I believe in a single-payer healthcare system where if you go in and you need a doctor, you can get the medical attention that you need.
Well, yes, you do think that. You think it should be changed, but like, man, that's like fine to design. I don't. The healthcare thing, I've never tripped out about that much. I've always been like, I don't want to be responsible for paying for someone else's da 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 da. But like, I mean, if me paying a little bit more actually helps someone like be able to survive, I personally am not tripping that much. But I'm not going to sit there and force that on anybody else. It's a good conversation to have, but I just. You just say you do, and if you're illegal, you should not be able to benefit off what we're paying for if you're an illegal immigrant. But obviously, if someone is an illegal immigrant, they came here, they are literally just came here to work. Maybe they were coming from a rough thing, even though it's illegal that they came here. Yeah, I think if they got like because some burglar took their purse, yeah, the hospital shouldn't be like, oh, you're undocumented. We're not going to save your life. I think that's kind of crazy. But yeah. I feel like this isn't. Anyways, but other than that, you should not be able to like just be given free healthcare if you're not an American citizen. They should be prioritized, obviously. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to comment down your thoughts below. I want to know what you're thinking, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.